Hello everybody. Today we are going to do some paper weaving. We're going to need a ruler, a trusty pencil, a pair of scissors, and some glue. I use a glue bottle, but you can use a glue stick. So here we go. You're going to have two pieces of paper. I'm just using plain paper today, but you can use colorful paper, painted paper, anything like that. First thing is you're going to fold your one piece of paper in half, hamburger style. Then you are going to make sure that it is folded near you and that it opens away from you. Do not let the paper eat you. Make sure it's eating the wall, not you. Now, you are going to draw a line at the top, just so you know where to end your pencil lines, where you're going to be trimming the paper. I put an X at the top, just so I make sure not to cut past that point, and then I write my name. Make sure it's away from you guys. Now, I'm going to use my ruler to start drawing lines on my paper up until that top line. I'm going to take my ruler again and I'm going to draw another line. I use the ruler to show me how thick I want in between each line. It's just easier this way to make sure all of my sections are equal. Okay, now we are going to grab our scissors and we are going to start cutting our paper. Make sure it's away from you. If it's near you, you're not going to be cutting it correctly. Now, when you are cutting, or when you are drawing your lines, I should say, you might have a little section at the end that's a little smaller or a little larger than your other sections. That is okay. If it really bothers you that much, you can use your ruler to even out all of your sections. Now, when you unfold, your ends should be together and the middle is going to be cut. You're going to put that paper aside and you're going to get your next piece of paper. You're going to use your ruler again to go ahead and draw some vertical lines, lines that go up and down. So make sure your paper is horizontal when you are doing this. If it is vertical up and down, the paper is vertical, you are not going to cut paper that is the size of your green paper. I'm warning you now, it will be bad. So, make sure your paper is horizontal, it goes from side to side, and you are cutting your paper all the way across. Just like with the green paper, you might have a little edge that is a little smaller than the other parts. That is okay. You're just going to trim that just like the rest of them. I might not even need that little section, so I'm just going to toss it away. Now I'm going to grab all of the blue paper that I have just cut, and I'm going to grab my green background paper, and I'm going to start weaving. Now, it doesn't matter what side you start from, and just remember that you go over, under, over, under. So, I'm going to start over. You could start under, but I'm going to start over, go under, over, under, try and go over. Sometimes you might have to maneuver the paper a little bit. Sometimes it's not that easy. Over, under, and over. And then I'm going to put it all the way to the side, push it all the way to the side. I don't want it floating in the middle. Now, the next one. You want it to be the opposite. This is not the opposite. That's the same as the one before. Don't do that. So, I'm going to go under this time since I started over on my first one. So I'm going to go under. If it wants to go through, I'm going to go over, under, Try and go over. Come on, little guy. Over. Under. Over. And under. And then I'm going to push it all the way through and push it all the way to the side. If they're not up against each other, then they're not going to be tight and they're not going to hold. Make sure you're doing every other one. It's kind of like a game of hopscotch. Next, you're going to go over since we did under last time. So over, under, over, under, over, under, and over again. Push it so it is next to the one before it. Remember, you want it to look like a checkerboard. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And you guys keep going along. Remember, it is the opposite of the one before it. And even though the middle is folded, you still go over that section. Now, for the last one, it could be a little bit more difficult to maneuver, and that's okay. You can always trim the piece a little bit if you need to. I try not to do that just because I want my pieces to be somewhat equal, but I'm going to push it through. Get it in there. And if you didn't cut all the way through enough, you can always tear it a little bit like I just did, just to get that piece through. I think that was the only one where my cut could have been a little longer. So I'm just going to keep going all the way to the top. And there we go. We have our woven paper. Now, it's time to bring in the glue. So I only have a glue bottle with me, but you can use a glue stick. And remember, dot, dot, not a lot. So I just do a couple dots. Hold it down for a couple seconds. Dot, dot, not a lot. Dot, dot. And dot, dot. So I'm just going to hold down the little tabs at the bottom just so they stay in place. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to glue down the other tabs. You could just do the front, but I like to do the back as well, just to keep them nice and secure. Flip it over and voila. We have our woven paper. Remember, close your glue bottle all the way and get that gross extra glue off the top. I like to just trim the little pieces off the edges that are sticking out just to make it look like it is one piece. And you are finished.